Okay. Hi. So let's jump into just doing some of this with our calculator because it's important that you have that skill too. So we're going to jump into using the TI-84 today. We're going to try to find the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the opening direction, the vertical stretch and compression factor, the y-intercept, minimum or maximum value, and then the domain and range of this function right here. And so I'm going to go over to my TI-84 and show you how I'm going to do this. So here we go. Here's my TI-84. Hopefully you can see okay. I have my color edition going on. So if you have this same calculator, that's great. Hopefully it'll work okay for you to follow along with me. I'm just going to move my camera over here so you can see my face. Hi. Okay. Hey, look, I have a bunch of stuff on my screen that I don't want on my screen, so I'm just going to click clear. I'm going to start by going to y equals, and then I'm going to clear everything out here. I don't want the plots on because that's going to put dots on the graph. That might be in my stat plots. I don't know. It might be from the last thing that I did with my graphing calculator. So I'm going to hit enter to turn that off. Remember, what I'm trying to graph is this one. So I'm going to type that in. 2x squared plus 8x minus 2. And I know that you can't see that, so I'm going to go back to the screen so that you can see how I did this. I'm going to clear it one more time. Focus this up a little bit one more time. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. 2x squared. So 2x squared. Right here, okay, plus 8x plus 2. Just going to make sure that's what it was. That was minus 2, my bad. So then I'm going to scroll back over here and hit minus. Okay, so now it says 2x squared plus 8x minus 2. That's the graph that I want to see. I'm going to hit graph, and then I'm like, that does not look like a parabola. So, and it's like shaded, and it's all weird. And so part of that is my fault because I clicked the wrong button. But so now if I hit zoom and 6, that sort of restarts my graphing process. And now it looks a little bit more like a parabola. Let's start by finding the vertex. And actually, I'm going to change the window a little bit because I don't really like that this is all the way down at the bottom of the screen right here. I would really like this to show a little bit more. So I'm going to change the y minimum to like -15. And you'll see what that does on your graph. But it basically shows more of the graph up and down. So now I want to calculate. And my options are value, 0, minimum, maximum, intersect. And then there's some calculus things down here. But let's look at either minimum or maximum. I have to think about, am I doing a minimum or am I doing a maximum? So on the graph, this spot right here, I'm going to just kind of scroll over to it. This is not the right way to do this, but is this a minimum value or is this a maximum value? Well, it's a minimum value because everything around it is above it. So I need to calculate second trace a minimum. Okay. Now it says it's going to ask me 3 questions. It's going to ask me left bound, then it's going to ask me right bound, and then it's going to ask me guess. First one is left bound. That means show me the furthest to the left that I should be looking over here. Well, I'm going to tell it to stop looking right about there. It creates that little arrow, and on your screen you might be able to see that there's a little vertical line right here. The right bound is the same idea, but on this side. So how far over here should I be looking on the calculator? So you're going to hit enter again. Then it says guess, and your guess is just telling it where is the right place to be looking. So you're going to hit enter once you scroll back to where the vertex actually is. It's going to calculate it for you, and this one says minimum is -1.9999999. Really what that means is 2, and then the y is -10. So if you go back here, your vertex is at the point -2, -10. We know from what we know about parabolas that our axis of symmetry is at the x value of the vertex. So it's x equals -2. The opening direction, I'm going to go back to the graph and I'm just going to look at it. Where is the opening of the parabola? The opening of the parabola is up. What is the vertical stretch or compression factor? That's what I'm looking for when I'm saying what is A. A is 2. My scale factor is 2. The y-intercept is what happens when I put in 0 for x. So I'm going to show you how to do this in your calculator. So I'm going to go to second trace. That's the calculate menu again. I'm going to put in a value. Sorry, I didn't show you that. I'm going to go to second trace, and then I'm going to calculate a value. I'm going to put in 0 for x and see what I get out. I get my answer is -2. So my y-intercept is the point 0, -2. We can see that it's actually the A right here also. What's the minimum or maximum value? Well, we calculated that. The minimum value was a y value, and it was -10. The domain for all parabolas is always real numbers, all real numbers. You can put anything in for x, and the range is anything above that minimum value. So the minimum value is -10, so y is greater than or equal to -10 is my range.